everybody. Welcome to our second session here with GOLFTEC and Tone Body Fitness. If you are joining us tonight, if you could just please mute your microphones while we are in the presentation, and once we have questions, please unmute yourself to ask the questions. But my name is Caitlin Moyer. I am with Tone Body Fitness, and I'm also working with the WSGA. I'm writing for Wisconsin Golfer Magazine, and I've been working here with Todd Gamroth at GOLFTEC in Wauwatosa, and we have an exciting presentation for you tonight.
Hey guys, my name is Todd Gamroth. I'm with GOLFTEC Wauwatosa, and
like Caitlin said, tonight we're going to talk about some know how to do your off-season goals, know how to work on it at home, on the range, at a facility. With all the facilities nowadays, there's plenty of places to practice now. Just a little bit about myself before we get into it. I have over 22 years of coaching experience. I've been with GOLFTEC since 2007. Before that, I was down in Indianapolis teaching for about 6 years down there. I'm also a graduate of the Ferris State University program, and last year I was lucky enough to be voted by my peers as a top 10 instructor in Wisconsin. So we really look forward to teaching you guys some stuff tonight. And first off, I guess we'll start with, go to the next one there. We'll start with get right into this. And Caitlin, let's sort of talk about how this sort of started. You know, sort of you're now writing for Wisconsin Golfer Magazine, and
yeah,
you can tell us. Yeah,
so one of the things I'm doing this year is writing for Wisconsin Golfer Magazine, the publication of the WSGA, and thinking about what topics am I going to write about. One of them, there was a suggestion made, maybe you should participate in a tournament. Have you ever participated in a tournament? And my background, I played golf in high school and I love the sports, but I had a really demanding job for the last about 2 decades, and while I love to play, I just didn't have a lot of time. So we'll get into that. But I said, you know what, I haven't competed since high school, which was way too long ago, but I'm willing to give it a shot, and I'm going to document my journey. So that's when I came to Todd. We had the partnership already with Tone Body Fitness for, I'm also a yoga teacher over there, so to do some off-season conditioning. And I said, Todd, hey, with the WSGA too, I'd love to take some lessons from you and to get my game in shape. So I'll be documenting the journey, and Todd is here to help me.
so yeah, how this correlates with you guys, how this can correlate with you guys. We want to sort of document and help you guys if you wanted to make a plan for how to get better in the off season. And, it starts with definitely setting some goals. And so, what I want you guys to think about, and I always, when a new student comes in, we write this down, we get it on paper, we put it in our system, and we really want to dive deep into why you love this game, why you play the game. And usually we start with some long-term goals. A lot of times those long-term goals people think are short-term goals, but in reality, they're goals that maybe we're looking for in the future. So just using Caitlin as an example, go over some of your long-term goals.
Yeah, you can see them here. Obviously, to play in a tournament, picked a date far toward the end of the year as I could and give myself the best chance to succeed, but to lower my scores and to more consistently, because I can range all over the place. We'll talk about that too, but increase distance. I'd like to do that, and just make consistent contact. And then also some shorter term goals, like how do we achieve those things? Practice smarter and commit to a schedule. As I mentioned before, my practice was few and far between. Now I'm seeing Todd weekly, coming in here on my own, doing some stuff at home, which will show you guys some things that you can do. Just learning the basics. Again, it's always good to check in with the basics. And if you're a new golfer, you're new to the game, maybe that's your long-term goal. That's where you're starting from. And then just, developing a fitness routine, a healthier diet, all those types of things, which we're doing on the Tone Body Fitness side to help you guys achieve all your goals as well.
Yeah, and I want you guys all to think about it. Everybody's goals are different. I doubt all your guys' goals is to play in tournaments or whatever, but it may be just to, play with your family, or maybe you got a trip planned. Hopefully we got trips planned in the future here soon, a golf trip or something. So really, the more you get ahead of that, the better. The students that come in and it's the week before they're going to go, hey, I'm going down to Florida. I got to play in this tournament.
it's probably too late. Okay, we can do some short-term fixes, but we really want to try to get ahead of this, and then we can start to talk about, like I said, then we'll start to work on a short-term one. And the first short-term goal that I always will just give to the student is learning how to practice smarter. And then we'll talk about some ways, like I said, that we can practice over the winter to make it a smarter schedule, and then commit to a schedule. Anytime you're trying to change a habit, it's so important that you get into a schedule, and you commit to it, and you go for it. So, and so we start with just, what I'm going to do as an instructor, and we did this with Caitlin, is just sort of take inventory of where you're at. You guys might have this all going in your head of you already know what your average is, you already know how much you play, but get it on paper, get it on a whiteboard. We just put it into our computer system here, so we can always look at it and go back to it. But go through some of this, and so just for example, we'll go through you again, Caitlin, for this. Just go through some of these different things that we talked about.
So I mentioned before my scoring, I shot 75 last year. I also shot 95. So I'm really in between. I don't expect to shoot 75 every time I go out this year, but I'd like to shoot 85 or lower more consistently. Number of rounds, that varied over the past few years. I'm definitely going to be able to do that now more this year, play more this year, hopefully, with a new schedule that I have. But due to my job in the past, I just couldn't play that regularly. And that dovetails in with the practice frequency and style. Anytime I wanted to spend on the course. I did not want to be at a range and hitting balls. I just wanted to be out there and playing. So now committing to that practice schedule, that will help. And then health and fitness has always been something that I've incorporated into my life, but really give it some thought on your end. Are there things you can do to maybe take a yoga class to increase your joint range of motion, flexibility, maybe get a little bit stronger, increase some power, some distance, things like that.
Absolutely. And so I encourage you guys all to write that down. If you go to instructor, they should be asking you all these questions. They should be definitely really diving deep into those goals, long-term and short-term. So once we get your goals, we got to dig deep in what we're going to, we got to evaluate the different parts of your game. And, there's only so much, obviously in the offseason, we can't work on everything. We can't work on sand play. It's hard to work on, some distance control stuff with putting and so forth, or, hitting off different lies on the course. So we got to we'll dive deep in all these areas and sort of put in order what we're going to work on during the winter. Especially maybe if it's more of a mechanical thought or a big change in the swing. And then we're going to sort of say, okay, what are we going to work on in the future? So we sort of have a plan for where we're going to go with that. And so we won't go into every single one of these, but for Caitlin, you can go ahead. What were a couple of the key points for you? And hopefully you can all relate to something on here that you think is really your worst part and your best part.
Yeah, my drives are pretty strong. So I know I don't need to work on that as much, and I think that more consistency will come there with everything else that we're working on. But it's more of the shots from I would say 100 yards in the control, and then also shots 150 greater, like the second shot on a par 5 or something like that. I just have a lot of trouble with my fairway woods. So Todd's been starting me out with some drills, which we'll show you tonight, and things that I can do to work on my short game in here, and then graduating to fuller swings and things like that. Off season is a really great time to get that physical fitness stuff in gear and get into a routine there, increase that range of motion. And then the mental game, we talk about some strategies. I've been working with another coach on some stuff related to that, reading some books, some podcasts. There's all sorts of things that you can do to kind of visualize when you can't actually get out to a course.
Yeah, so just to go with that, what we started with is with the shots 100 yards and in, and we'll talk about some of the things that we show you in a bit in terms of technique. So I wanted to dive deep right in probably what she felt was like the worst part of her game. And I know sand play might be, you said, but that's the part that we can't really do right now. So for the first 2 weeks, we just pretty much work on half swings. One of the biggest faults for her in her full swing was that she hit too far behind the ball. For some of you it may be a slice. It may be that you top the ball.
And maybe you hook it. Everybody's going to have a different thing that they can relate to that may be their worst fault for that. So we started with something that we can work on inside, and it was contact, just hitting the ball first. And then we also just hitting a little bit straighter with the clubs. And now, after we've been going for 3-4 weeks, we're starting now to get into our 150 and out games. So first priority was some short game stuff, and then it was some longer shots that we decided to work on. And then later on, we're going to do some outside stuff and so forth. So for you, it's starting to say, what's my worst fault? And we can find different ways to practice that fault during the winter. That's very productive.
And I've been really disciplined, and I feel like I've done a really good job, because when I do go to the range, it's like, oh, I want to hit the driver because that's my favorite thing, and that's what I'm good at. But I didn't even hit the driver, I think, till like last week when we started working together at the beginning of January. So I literally just focused on exactly what Todd told me to do. So I'm putting my trust in you.
Absolutely. So yeah, here's some of the things here that we did for Caitlin. And like I said, this is something that you can do on your own, write it down. As always, a good instructor will help with this also. But making a plan. And so you can see right there, we said, okay, we're going to work on your full swing in the off season. We're going to start with shorter shots to work on contact. We needed a schedule, weekly lessons at GOLFTEC. She's going to practice 2 days a week here, but then she's also, which we'll show you in a bit, some good drills that she can work on at home, and then also some good drills hopefully you guys can work on at home too. And then she's doing some of her own side work on the mental preparation, on the podcasts, and everything else with that.
Yeah. Anybody have any questions on this part of the presentation so far? If you do, feel free to unmute yourself. No, everyone wants to get into the drills.
Fun stuff.
Yeah, speaking of fun, so that's one of my challenges. It's winter. I think most of you are on here. Maybe some of you are from afar, but Wisconsin, just dumped the snow on us recently. So how do we practice in the winter? How do we get better and improve? And how do we keep it fun and not boring? So just leaving you guys with this on this part of the presentation. This is one of the drills that we'll show you. I improvised. I'm hitting my cat toys here. And then other cats, they like it. It serves a dual purpose.
So any way you can practice.
Any way that makes it fun to practice. All right. All right, Todd, you ready to show us some drills?
Let's do it. Let's do it. Guys, so the drills I'm going to focus on tonight are going to be drills that I feel are for most people. Obviously, everybody has a different situation, but these are the ones that I probably see 70 to 80% of the time when people come in for an evaluation. So this first drill we're going to do, you don't even need a club. So there's no excuse not to be able to do this one. You can even do this during your workout routine. So for this one, what you're going to do is you're actually just going to get in your setup, and you're going to take your right hand and cross it over your left hand. And what we're going to do, I'm going to demonstrate it first, and we'll sort of talk about why we're doing this. But first, what we're going to do is keep both arms straight, and we're just going to turn around your body just like this, okay? Now, the goal of this, one of the biggest errors that I see is when people swing, what they do with their right hip is what we call sway. They'll take their right hip and they'll push it outside their right ankle here on their backswing. And what this does, it really makes it hard for you to rotate. It's bad on your back too. So what you want to do when you're practicing this is, as you do this turn, you're going to keep this right hip right inside your right foot. Like I said, take the right hand over your left hand, keep them both straight as you turn. Now, the biggest error that I see when people do this drill is they take the arms and they try to raise them up this way. What you want to do, if there was like a wall right behind you, you want to feel like you're going to touch that wall as you do this, okay? Awesome drill. It's going to stretch. I know I feel it in the shoulders and the lats a little bit, okay? Really good drill for just learning how to turn. Great warm-up drill also. Okay, my second drill for you guys. Second drill, you can just use a book at home, okay? This is old Ben Hogan book I haven't read in a while, probably should. So take one of your books that you guys probably don't use much anymore, And what this drill is going to do is going to help teach us how to square the club face. One of the other biggest errors that I see when you guys come in is essentially an open club face. And what that ball does, it goes to the right, it slices. Okay, so this is a really good drill to help you teach how the wrist works in the swing and how to square the club face. So what I want you to do is I want you to take this book and I want you to put in your fingers and put it right up against your forearm. Okay, and first off, you're just going to take your setup and you're going to place that book looking straight ahead at the target. Now the goal is going to be that this book stays on your forearm throughout the whole backswing and the downswing. Okay, what I see most often is when people take it back, they're going to separate the book from the forearm, and this opens the club face. Okay, so anytime that this book comes off this wrist or forearm, that's going to open the club face. And the goal from there then is to keep that book and try to return it back, keep it on the forearm and return it back to your original position here at where it was in your setup, and then continue on all the way through. So just to recap that, you're going to put it up against your forearm. You're going to take it back without letting the book go off your forearm. And you're going to get that book back to essentially pointed at the target through there. And then you're going to take it up to here, and you actually see how now I got the book pointed the other way. So awesome drill for getting your club face square or closed. All right, Caitlin, you want to get involved?
All right.
All right, so I showed you guys these are a couple drills that we did for Caitlin. That she does it here, but she also does it at home. And one of the first drills is just a stick drill. So these are driveway sticks. You guys are probably all up in the driveway right now, but you can use clubs also. What we're going to do is we're going to make sort of a little road here. And the goal of this is going to be she is going to practice swinging between these two sticks. Okay, Caitlin, let me go and set up there. So one of Caitlin's errors on her downswing is that when she came down into the ball, she would actually hit this inside stick. Okay, now for a lot of golfers, they're going to hit this outside stick, and we can talk about that in a little bit. But for her, we set this up pretty narrow, and she started with some half swings, and she's just going to practice taking it straight back and then coming through the stick straight through here. Okay, and we just started with real slow swings, little half to half swings, and just practicing knocking the stick. So this is one that she does at home, even without a ball, just to get a sense of this. Because yeah, in the beginning, you hit the inside stick, and then she tried to miss the inside stick, and she hit the outside stick. So she's getting better at grooving essentially the proper angle that she can swing into the ball. Okay? All right. So now what we did is we combined this with another drill. Okay, so what this drill is going to teach you how to hit the ball first. Everybody has seen that slow motion video on TV where you see that ball being compressed against that club face. This is a good drill to help work on that. So I just got some electrical tape here. I'll show this from a different angle for you guys so you can see it a little bit differently, but we're just going to put a piece of black electrical tape on the ground. And we use the sticks with this, so we get sort of two drills at once for Caitlin. But I want you to go ahead and take your club and we're going to put about one club head in front of the tape. Like I said, we'll show this from a different angle. And what we're going to do is we're going to practice essentially not hitting the piece of tape. And so in the past, she would hit the inside stick, and then she'd also hit the ground too far behind the ball. So this is a helper groove hitting in front of, or essentially hitting the ball first. Go ahead and give it a try there. Okay, good. Okay, well, how often do you hit it the first?
The first, I could not hit the tape the first week, but
Yep.
now we're getting better. What,
Yep.
should we show it from this angle?
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, so in this angle, we can see it a little bit better here. All right. There we go. Just get it from the tape. And this is one of those things that, like I said, you may hit it at first, and we can talk about why she's missing the tape. But instinctually, I think the one thing that really helped her miss the tape was we actually started having her focus more in a spot way in front of the ball. And so her eyes were sort of up here. And what that did is it helps her shift her weight better. It helps her finish better, right? It just helps you learn how to pop out better. So Good. So listen, start with short swings, mini swings, slow swings, and then gradually work our way up to bigger swings with that. This is probably one of my favorite drills to do. Just need a club and a wall. Okay, so what this drill is going to do, it is going to essentially teach you how to swing on a good swing plane. Okay, watch golf on TV, you heard there's a slang of in the slot, inside out. But most players, when they come in, they're swinging what we call out to in. Okay, so what that would be is when you take the club back. And by the way, when you're doing this drill, I want you to grip it from the club head so that the grip is going to hit the wall. And I'll show you that in a second here. But what you're going to do is you're going to swing the club up to the top and just have the butt of the club rest on the wall here. And what most amateurs do is their first move down is to take this club and move it away from the wall. This is the slice move, okay? Everybody who does this is going to slice the ball, okay? So what we want to do is we want to have this club, the butt of the club, stay on this wall all the way down about parallel to the ground. Now from here, we'd actually try to swing the club out to right field. Okay, so if center field was straight ahead, you're trying to swing that club from that position out into right field. So you take it back, have that butt of the club right on the wall there. Gonna keep it on the wall all the way till it gets about parallel to the ground. And from here then, you're gonna swing that club out to right field right there. Awesome drill to get the right feel for how to swing on the proper plane into the golf ball right there. The biggest thing, I think the biggest thing, we'll take some questions here for you in a second, is just to come up with a plan, and you can practice, even if you're stuck in the house or you have a range or a great practice facility to go to. There are ways to practice during the winter and to get better. It's actually when some of the biggest changes are made in the golf swing is when you're not worried about going on a plane the next day. So there's some great drills to do. Write your goals down. Get a plan going. If you have a hard time with it, go ahead and get the instructor. Get somebody that can help you through this and to make a plan for the winter into the spring. So.
Does anyone have any questions for Todd or myself? Feel free to unmute yourself if you have questions.
Is there any specific exercises for flexibility that you would recommend?
Exercises for flexibility. Actually, yes, we did a whole session with Tone Body Fitness on yoga, and I can send you the link to that presentation. It's up on YouTube.
Great.
I can, do you have your email, I think, so we'll make sure that we, James, we'll send that to you, James.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, got it. Thank you.
Awesome.
Anybody else? We'll be continuing these sessions during the off season here. Hopefully we'll all be out on the course before not too long, but the next one will be focused on strength. So if you're interested in that, keep your eyes out for that. That should be coming out later this month, and then kind of putting it all together, your off-season practice, your flexibility, and your strengths. And then hopefully we can take it to the course. But Todd's here. You guys, if you have any questions.
Or anything, please feel free.
Thanks.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Take care. Bye.